versus Jeremy Stephens. To get our feature fight started, back to the ring and Lupe Contreras.
Inside the Pfizer Forum, this is Jorge Masvidal's Game Bred Boxing, proudly presented to you by Monster Energy, Trio 5, and El Recuerdo Mezcal. This is our featured bout of the evening, set for 6 rounds in the welterweight division. Our judges scoring at ringside are Mike Fitzgerald, John Mariano, and Robert Echo. In charge of the action, referee Benji Esteves. Presenting first, the fighter standing in the blue corner. He enters wearing black with gold, and he weighed in at an official 146 3/4 pounds. In his 51 pro MMA career, this all-action warrior earned 6 Fight of the Night UFC bonuses. And tonight, inside the Game Bred ring, he is making his professional boxing debut from San Diego, California, Jeremy Little Heathen Stephens. Across the ring in the red corner, wearing blue with green and gold, he weighed in at an official 148 pounds. In his Hall of Fame MMA career, he became one of the most highly respected fighters of his era, becoming the first ever UFC featherweight champion and the final WEC featherweight champion of the world. Tonight, he enters for the 2nd time as a pro with a record of 1-0 into the boxing ring. From Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, Jose Aldo.
Referee Benji Esteves bringing these two great fighters together. Jeremy Stephens said in our fighter meeting, I feel that I will be able to pull back effectively and control distance, in and out movement. And Stephens said, I want to make Aldo feel my power very early in this fight. Round number 1, sporting touch of gloves, right to it for both men. The colors of Brazil, blue, green, yellow for Jose Aldo. The color of the Iowa Hawkeyes, Jeremy Stephens' home state. His trunks, black and yellow. Hands high and tight for Jeremy Stephens. Aldo not getting through that guard. High tight guard now for Jose Aldo. Stephens to the body. There's the jab from Aldo. Jab again from Jose Aldo. Hook jab from Jeremy Stephens.
I like what both guys are doing right now. I like that Stephens is working. You know, that punch output, it's got to be, you just got to work and try to find something. But the other side of that is Aldo, tight defense, not giving much up, and then finding jabs when he wants to find them, swinging and miss with the left hook. But I mean, just proficient on both sides.
Stephens from the outside, hard on the feint. To the inside, Stephens just misses with the hook. 2 stiff jabs right back from the Brazilian, Jose Aldo.
That's a nice jab, Aldo, man. That is a nice jab. It's fast, it's poppy, he's got some pop on it, accuracy on it. Look at that. You don't see a lot of fighters come into boxing and have the kind of patience that Aldo is displaying right now.
What's so fascinating for me through their brilliant pro MMA careers, Jose Aldo, Jeremy Stephens, so explosive, such great finishers, but both really smart fighters.
You can tell that both fighters are very tactical and calculated at this point, not wasting energy and also not throwing just to throw. I think Stephens a little more offense because he's got to find something, but on the other side of that, you got Aldo just kind of being very patient and waiting on the opening for the jab and then working off of that.
Jose Aldo stepping in with the jab. Jeremy Stephens trying to come forward. Hands high and tight for Stephens. Up jab not there. Snap jab right back from Jose Aldo. 35 seconds remaining, round number 1 of our feature fight.
See a couple feints there from Stevenson. I mean, from Stevens. He's thinking. Both guys are thinking. I like it.
Hard feint from Jose Aldo. There's the jab from Aldo. High, tight guard from Jeremy Stevens, but then the jab getting through from Aldo. Final seconds, round number 1. And the feint, the jab. 1-2 from Stevens. Big overhand right. There is the bell.
Nice little combination right there from Aldo, but the most important punch in that first round was Aldo's jab. I say all the time, you can win a fight with just a jab. If you're proficient with it, you're accurate with it, and you know how to use it, you can win a fight with just a jab. And I do believe that Aldo won that round with the jab. Of course, he put some other things together, but it all started with the jab.
Round number 2, hook to the body from Stevens. The jab right back from Aldo. Big right hand from Stevens, didn't fully land. Definitely took Jose Aldo off his striking line. Aldo looking very comfortable with the backwards movement. Stevens looking very comfortable with the forward movement.
Just about to say, both guys are comfortable, calm. I mean, they're reading one another, looking for the right punches at the right time, not just wasting energy and wasting punches and being sloppy. But two MMA legends, they are very proficient in the sport of boxing.
There's the jab from Stevens. 50 seconds gone, round 2.
Nice feint right there from Stevens. I like to see him work off of those feints. I've seen a couple of them. Another one.
Stevens resetting. Getting to the outside range now is Jeremy Stevens. Looking for the entry again. Aldo, big hook to the body. Counter on the rear right uppercut from Stevens.
So when you got a guy with a high guard like Aldo, what you have to do is you have to now become the counter puncher. Instead of being first, big right hand landed right there from Aldo.
There's the rear right uppercut from Jose Aldo after the big 1-2. Aldo starting to turn up the pressure here.
And so you got to counter punch, you know? Let Aldo be first, make him miss that first punch and come right back. That's, you got to let it, you got to force it, got to open up from that high guard, and the only way you can do that is by letting him punch first.
Jab to the body from Jose Aldo. Stevens overhand right, counter right hand from Aldo. Stevens backing up, keeping the high, tight striking guard. Jeremy Stevens back to the 1. There's that lead left entry uppercut from Aldo. It's a clever punch, duck under from Stevens.
Really big right hand landed right there from Aldo. It definitely stunned Stevens. And again, the patience for him to just wait. That wasn't the right time. He's hurt, but that's not yet. That's not it yet, you know? So seeing some quick techniques from both guys that I feel are very impressive.
Benji Esteves telling both fighters, watch your head on the inside. Both fighters actually stopped to listen to Benji Esteves.
Yeah. Because that's different, right? From the UFC world. They get open-ended, you know, warnings and things like that, but they keep fighting.
Rarely would a referee in pro MMA, it's a great question, Showtime Sean, would say watch your heads. You just don't see it. Headbutts are obviously illegal in pro MMA.
Yeah.
You just don't get those clash of heads necessarily, and it's not something a referee would say. Final seconds, round number 2. Here's the jab from Stevens. Stevens hook to the body. Hard feint from Aldo. Next stop, round 3. Jose Aldo playing to this Milwaukee, Wisconsin crowd.
Here we go. We got another red corner standing up. We saw that. We've been seeing that majority of the night where red corner, those fighters aren't sitting down. They're standing up and just feeling the excitement of the moment and keeping those muscles warm, you know? Big round right here by Aldo, pushing forward to Stevens in his first 2 rounds. But along with pushing forward, he eats a big right hand at some point. Big right hand right there that stunned him. But again, the patience of Aldo to know that that just was not the moment to finish, and to lay back and just be patient and wait. Impressive outing so far by both gentlemen.
We start round number 3. In the sporting touch of gloves. Aldo, center of the ring, off the jab. Good right hand from Stevens. Now the jab to the body. Jab right back to the head from Jose Aldo. Combination from Aldo.
I've been in fights where I've learned something from my opponent in the moment, and I started to do something that opponent was doing. I think something that Stevens can do now is learn about this patience that Aldo is having. Just sit back, jab to the body like you started the round. You started the round clean, landing some good body shots. Just sit back, be patient, wait, it'll come. It's like you can take a book from your opponent's technique right there in the moment. You can take a page out of your opponent's book right there in the moment.
There's the jab from Jose Aldo. Big 1-2 combination left hook from Aldo on the overhand right. Stevens trying to fire out of the corner with the left hook. Does so successfully. Another left hook to the head. Jab right back to the body from Aldo. 1:45 remaining round 3. Audacious rear right uppercut from the Brazilian Jose Aldo nearly landed.
See, in boxing, blocking just does not cut it. You got to be able to use your feet. You got to be able to move your head left, right, change your levels from being high to going down low. There's so much that goes into it, and Stevens just doesn't have what it takes to make Aldo miss.
Push away jab from Jose Aldo. You see the framing from Jose Aldo. Showtime Sean with the forearm in.
Yeah. A couple of nice right hands landed right there by Stevens too, but yeah, to your point, that forearm creates space. And once you get some space, you're able to land a big punch with leverage. You get space, then leverage on a big punch.
Jab again to the head from Jose Aldo. Stevens trying to explode to the inside. Esteves telling Stevens, watch the punch to the back of Aldo's head. Slight complaint from Jose Aldo, right back to it. Overhand right, just missed from Stevens.
That's some good defense right there from Aldo. Couple steps back, stepped around, and moved the head all at the same time.
Right hand from Jose Aldo. Stevens trying to roll through. Guard left hook from Jeremy Stevens. Turn the head of Aldo. Right hand from Stevens.
And you see the rolling right there. After that offense, he moved his head. He needs to do more of that.
Counter entry left hook from Jose Aldo. Overhand right from Stevens. Hard feint from Jeremy Stevens. There is the bell. Smile on the face of both fighters as we move to round 4.
This is what happens when you're fighting and you take a page out of the book of your opponent. It's like a reminder, oh yeah, I can do that too. And we saw Aldo moving his head very well, and Stevens picked up on that and started moving his head after he punched. That's really good boxing right there from both guys. This was a big moment from Aldo. I thought he was gonna go for it right here. He had a couple of big combinations that were landed. All those punches landed. And a couple of right hands right here from Stevens too. And then the jab, he's on the jab as well. I mean, both gentlemen, he had nice exchanges. And both gentlemen in that round, it was really good offense and defense. That was a close round.
Round number 4. Again, you see the sportsmanship between both fighters. Hard feints from Jeremy Stevens. Double jab from Aldo. More on the first jab than the second. Overhand right from Stevens. Stevens now with this stiff jab to the head of Aldo. A lot of those heavy feints, Sean, from Jeremy Stevens.
I mean, jabs, we got some feints from Stevens.
There's the jab right back again from Jeremy Stevens. Hook to the body, double hook to the body. Very slick from Stevens.
Real quick, because I see Stevens, he's throwing a lot of feints. He started the fight throwing the feints. Here's the point of the feint. It doesn't allow your opponent to catch your rhythm. So if you throw a couple of jabs, that opponent may be able to pick up, like, okay, here comes a jab. I can counter it, I can slip it, things like that. Big punches landed by both gentlemen right there, but I like the feints because it's like he's keeping Aldo off balance.
Strong start to round number 4 for Jeremy Stevens. We're scheduled for 6 rounds at 147 pounds. Jose Aldo pushing off with his shoulder. Overhand right from Stevens on the entry.
Good jab by Stevens.
Aldo, that very short, sharp overhand right just missed the mark. Stevens on the outside. Go back to our fighter meeting. Jeremy Stevens said, I have to control the distance all the way in, all the way out, continually through this fight.
And sometimes it takes a couple of rounds for it to click to you that, hey, I have been working my game plan, you know, so we see more patience and we see Stevenson controlling the distance much better in this round than he has in any other.
Good short left hook from Jose Aldo. 65 seconds remaining, round 4. Rear right uppercut from Aldo. That landed flush.
I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't want him to get hit with an uppercut right here, right now, because I don't want the blood to come out. I don't want that. Yeah, turn, go that way, go the other way.
Hence why fight commentators should never wear a white shirt on television.
Yeah, and should bring a umbrella, which is what I keep telling myself, and I haven't done that yet.
You and I are both wearing black shirts. Blood flowing now out of Stevens' left nostril. See that slight smear of blood on Jeremy Stevens' face. 30 seconds remaining, round 4. Overhand right from Jose Aldo. Short right hand from Stevens, counter left hook from Aldo.
Look at the legs of Stevens. They don't look as strong as they did early on in this fight. They're starting to be a little light, a little shaky.
Hook to the head, counter right hand from Stevens. Bit of playfulness now from Jeremy Stevens. He's talking to Jose Aldo. And we are through 4 rounds.
Right there was a big right hand landed by both gentlemen. I mean, the exchanges in this fight have been big exchanges. Heavy punches landed by both gentlemen. Blood on the nose, both guys. And right there, big right hand landed. And then a little shake at the end of that right there. I like that. Yeah. I mean, the gamesmanship tonight has been fun to watch.
Round number 5. Sportingly, Aldo and Stevens have touched gloves at the start of every round, without the behest of referee Benji Esteves.
My dad always told me you touch gloves before the fight starts. After that, if your opponent tries to touch gloves, hit him. I never had the heart to do it. Never had the heart to do it.
Hook to the body, counter right hand right back from Stevens. Bouncing the step of Jeremy Stevens. There's the jab from Jose Aldo. Hook from Aldo lands. Jab from Stevens lands. 2:15 remaining, round 5. Double jab, there's the naked right hand, the 2 without the 1.
I would love to see Stevens just take some steps back, get back to the outside of the ring, and don't allow Aldo to get started. I do believe that Aldo, if you're close to him, he'll fire off, but If he feels like you're not in range, he's not going to let go any shots.
Clever sequence from Stevens. Jab, hook to the body, then the right hand. Aldo, high tight striking guard. Aldo now coming forward. Aldo with the right hand. 1-1-2 from Jose Aldo. This is a very even fight, Sean.
Yeah, I have it even. I have it even, and both guys are really just working accordingly. You know, you got Stevens, you know, hustling, throwing both hands, combinations. Aldo buying his time, waiting till that right punch is there, and taking it, striking when he needs to. Both guys are doing really well.
Jab again from Jose Aldo. 105 remaining, round 5.
If I had to make a prediction, I would say whoever takes advantage and starts to just push forward and throw head and body, that's who's going to win this fight.
1-1-2 from Stevens. Quick 1-2 right back from Jose Aldo. Aldo on the overhand right. Stevens on the jab. Stevens rear right uppercut, right hook from Jose Aldo. Stiff jab from Stevens.
The difference with this round and other rounds, Stevens has let go of that defense that he had probably in the last 2 rounds. No longer is he moving his head. He's just standing right there in reach, arms reach, and Aldo's letting the punches go. This is what I'm talking about. Whoever does that and just pushes forward, that's who's going to win this fight.
See the roll from Jeremy Stevens. There's the right hand. Aldo shakes his head no. Overhand right from Jose Aldo. That was fast. That was sharp. Walk forward pressure now from Aldo. The diversion with the right hand. Hook to the body from Stevens. Left hand from Jeremy Stevens to the head. Aldo with the jab. We move to the 6th and final round. In our fighter meeting, Jose Aldo said, Jeremy Stevens is physically stronger than I am, but Aldo said, I believe Stevens will wear out before I do.
And that's exactly what it looks like. I thought in that last round, Stevens looked a little bit lethargic, like his punches weren't just flowing the way that they had been through the course of this fight. Both guys fighting very hard, of course. Jabs coming out from Stevens right there, but I just thought that offensively, Aldo had the better punches landed in that round. Seemed to me like Stevens stopped moving his head, and at the end of that round, Stevens did try to take control. Last and final round.
6th and final round indeed. It's a massive rivalry between these two fighters, but you see the genuine respect between Jose Aldo and Jeremy Stevens. 6th and final round underway. Aldo missing with that lead left hook. Aldo to the body. Stevens with the jab to the head. Stiff jab right back from Jose Aldo. Aldo on the flurry. Stevens did well defending that, keeping his high tight striking guard. Aldo with the jab.
A nice jab. That's the jab he started the fight with. You love to see a fighter at the end of the fight have exactly what they had in the first round.
Aldo shakes his head no. Aldo with the jab. Stevens on the level change, jab to the body. Aldo with the flurry again. Stevens staying very disciplined with his gloves high. Aldo rear right uppercut. Stevens hooking to the body. Aldo big step in left hook. Overhand right just misses from Jeremy Stevens. 1:45 remaining, 6th and final round.
Good body shot right there from Stevens.
Rear right uppercut getting through from Jeremy Stevens. Landed on the chin of Aldo. Aldo circling out. Stevens coming forward.
Stevens has to have control this entire last round.
Duck under from Aldo, right hand, counter right hand from Jose Aldo after Stevens landed. Stevens lands that right hand. On the entry off the jab.
Right there is where you want Aldo, but do you have enough to finish this fight?
These are very close rounds. The left hand from Jeremy Stephens. On a straight 1-2 from Aldo. Overhand right from Jeremy Stephens. Left hook just misses from Jose Aldo. 50 seconds remaining in this fight. Hard feint from Stephens. 1-2 again from Jose Aldo. Now walk forward pressure from Aldo. Stephens to the body. Shoulder to shoulder. Aldo pulling back that right hand.
30 seconds left. Fighters, we all have an internal clock. And you see both these men turning up just a little bit more second by second of this last round has been impressive.
Aldo on the duck under. Both fighters throwing lead hooks. Now the jab, the 2 from Aldo after the jab from Stephens. Stephens on the 2. Straight right hand. Both fighters connecting to the head off of right hands. Big shots from both men. Throwing to the bell. Stephens into the clinch. That is the end of our feature fight. And a great moment between these two truly great fighters.
Heck of a fight, heck of a performance on both ends, both sides of the ring. These guys did everything they needed to do. And like I always say, you want to empty the tank. Both guys have truly done that. Right here, the combinations thrown and landed by Aldo. A lot of combinations from both guys through the course of this fight. And that